And we're
I
recording.
got the record symbol. All right, let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah, you did.
All right.
Welcome back to Across the Table, COVID-19 edition. As we discussed last time, I think Coronacation was what we coined it.
Yeah.
So we are still in Coronacation, which means most likely you are as well. I don't know of anyone that's out of it yet. And today we thought we'd have a little fun. We talked about being 90s babies. And it'll be fun because Jacob and I were both born in 91, but Corey was born in 97.
Yep.
So it's 6-year, vastly different experiences.
And if I'm being honest, I'm December 97, so I'm pretty much almost 98.
98, yeah, absolutely. You lived 2 years and 1 month in the 90s.
Bingo.
And then you were done with it.
Yep.
Yeah. So Najee is not feeling well today, unfortunately, so he can't be with us. So we replaced him with Vash the Stampede, which, if you don't know, is from one of my favorite 90s, definitely my favorite 90s anime, Trigun.
Ooh.
So if you haven't seen it and you like anime or you want to try something new, check him out. Check out Trigun. Super fun. Other than that, Corey and I were discussing kind of off recording some of our different experiences. So we're going to have to relive that real quick. But
For sure.
But I would love to hear from all of us what your experience was growing up in the 90s. And even like for you, Corey, like what was it like growing up in the early 2000s, coming right off the 90s, right? So,
Right.
So go ahead. Share experiences. We'll kind of work our way through here and we'll have some fun.
All right. Jacob, you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't mind going first.
Awesome.
I remember, I guess, I don't know if this is like still a thing with the younger generation, but I remember like going outside, doing whatever. Like I could walk to the like supermarket or whatever, which was not too far from my house. I could walk to my friend's house, which wasn't too far. It was just kind of be back before the lights turn on or the street lights turn on. And I don't really imagine that's a thing anymore. I don't know if parents still abide by that, but I can't imagine it's very accepted anymore. So,
No, dude, I had a pizza place that was right at the top of my neighborhood. You would like walk out. Oh, I mean, literally the neighborhood you're living in, where the laundromat place is, like at the top of the neighborhood. There used to be a pizza place there called Slice of Heaven, and it was incredible. And I was so mad when it went away because you could just walk and get a good slice of pizza in 5 minutes as a kid. It was like, hey, Dad, I need $5. And you'd just be like, woo-hoo. And then, no, nothing, gone. But anyway, yes, I definitely shared that experience. I would walk around, run around the neighborhood, having adventures. I remember finding snakes, playing roller hockey, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Just having adventures around the neighborhood. And then when I wasn't doing that, I was playing video games. If I was at home, those were the things that I did. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Dude, one of my go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
No. You got it.
One of my favorite things growing up was I had one of my cousins. He lived in Alabama, but he came and visited in the summer. And I swear every day we would wake up, we would eat breakfast, we would go to the pool, we would just hang out there all day, come back and play video games. And it was the greatest. We just got on our bikes and we just rode to the pool, which was a few neighborhoods down. And it was like, and we took some like back roads, or not back roads, just kind of like some shortcuts, which were like just not the main road, which was always just exciting as a kid, I guess. I don't know why, but yeah, it was super fun, but just I don't think you can do that anymore.
Yeah, it definitely has a different feel. There's I get the sense that like nowadays there's so much sheltering, and I feel like I understand it to a degree, because, you know, I guess I feel like we have a better grasp on the world than, say, our parents did because of internet, and just we have access to so much information, and we see so many things that we're just like, why don't you just hang out? You know, we'll go to the park together, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yep.
it's interesting to think about, like, with your kids, would you let them do that same thing nowadays? I feel like
Probably not.
they wouldn't have anyone to play with, right? Like, but
Yeah.
if there were other kids to play with, would you let them do the same things? And because of how much fun I had as a kid, I'm tempted to be like, yeah, have fun. But at the same time, like, yeah, I'd get really anxious. Like,
Yeah.
that's my child. I need you to come back home. I need you to make sure that you're okay. I'll go on adventures with you. That's what it'll probably be. It'll be like, I'm going to go on adventures as a 40-year-old man running around in creeks, not knowing what I'm doing. I mean, like, this is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ideal situation. I remember, I definitely had the same sort of. So when I was, I guess in the 90s, when that was widely acceptable to like go out and do that stuff, I never really was old enough for like going and buying stuff or having any money from my parents. So my experience was like just staying in the cul-de-sac. It was very much Ed, and Eddie. It was just the neighborhood, the cul-de-sac. That's where you hang out. And me and my friend Ben across the street, him and his younger brother would hang out all the time. And we were doing one of three things. It was either, well, one of four, I guess. We would ride our bikes around the neighborhood, just up and down this straight road. Or we were playing my PlayStation, we were playing on my computer, or we were watching TV. And Ben did not have cable at his place. Like they didn't do that. I think it was like, I don't know, whatever. They did not have cable. So if they wanted to watch TV, they came over to my place. We hung out and watched TV. It was great. And I remember they put this. So the way my street is that it was basically a straight line like this, and then there was a little cul-de-sac that came out this way and just ended like right here. And then there was just a bunch of woods, and we would play in the woods all the time. And then someone bought it, like a church bought it, and cut all the trees down and put a pavilion there where in the time that I lived there, nothing ever happened or was held. Like, I don't know what the point of building it was. But essentially it just connected to the main cul-de-sac. It was just a street now. But I remember giving like the construction workers and whoever owned that place just absolute hell the whole time they were doing it. Cause, well, what probably felt like hell, but to us, it was probably just like, oh, that's funny. So in Michigan, where it snows, you put these wooden stakes lining your driveway so that the plows know where to stop, so they don't like, plow the grass and all that stuff. And in the winter, they put those stakes down lining the street where they were building the pavilion. And I remember my friend Sam, who was a little bit crazy, took out it was a long street, and he took out every single wooden stake, broke it over his leg, and then evenly spread them across the pavement. So the entire road was just full of these broken wooden stakes. And from that day on, there was a cop car that patrolled through there every once in a while that would just, peek through, leave the neighborhood, and that was it.
Yep. And that's how that works.
Yeah. And then I even remember they built the pavilion, and it was basically just like the old lunch windows that lift up, what I'm talking about. There's like the counter, and then you lift the metal thing up. And then there was like a small kitchen. And I remember somehow getting inside, and I think I was the only one that got inside because I was like the smallest or something along those lines. But I remember drinking from the sink, like the water worked. And I was like, I'm a rebel. this is amazing, and no one will ever catch me for this. And like it got out, and it was just like the funniest thing ever.
Yes, that's amazing. I saw a meme or something, I don't know, that memes. First, just to stop there for 1 second.
Oh yeah,
those didn't exist.
At the 2000s
They didn't
invention.
exist. Yeah, like they just 90s memes. What are the meme? Like you wouldn't know. That's so insane to me to think about now. But I saw a meme of you talked about cable, and it reminded me of the guide channel.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The TV guide channel.
Yep.
Like,
Yes.
and it was like I remember missing my show or missing my channel and having to wait for it to scroll back around.
Oh, it's terrible.
And I was just like, I can't fathom having to do that now. But I remember just sitting there like, and you'd get distracted at the wrong time. And you'd be like, oh,
Always.
No, I need to know what comes on in an hour. I need to make sure that my shows, or at least shows that I want to watch, are coming on so that I can be prepared.
That's hilarious.
Crazy concept.
See, the only time I ever used a guide channel was at like a hotel. Like if we'd go on vacation somewhere or something like that, I'd be like, all right, let's see what the channels they've got here. But I still remember when I was a kid, the channels were, I think it was 35 was Nickelodeon, 36 was Cartoon Network, 37 was Disney Channel. I think it was 135 was Disney XD, 50 was MTV, and that's all I needed to know.
That's impressive. I'm pretty sure Cartoon Network was 69.
Oh, that's amazing.
No. I didn't know at the time. Comedy Central was 69.
Oh,
I'm
that's
almost
so
positive.
I'm almost positive. What provider did you have? We had Comcast.
I have no idea.
I knew that was the Comcast like lineup.
I don't think we had a provider back then.
Okay.
I think it was just you plug in your I mean, I guess we did. I don't know. I didn't know. Like I was.
No, I do remember. I do remember all the whole campaign they had where every other commercial was in 2001. Everything is switching over to a provider, and you will not be able to plug your cable into the wall. Blah 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 blah. All that stuff.
Absolutely.
So I remember that. That was barrage of like commercials. Just like it's like, all right, I just want to watch my TV.
No, that was literally like the mark of my life changing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole era was like, things will no longer be the same. Like, because that coming around was really the start of like people starting to get like Sidekick, smartphones, like all this whole, that was really like the ramp of like personal technology is taking a leap. Because before then, like I still feel like we had like a Dell desktop computer in the house, and that was like a big deal. You know, like that was your computer, your family computer. Everyone used that. If you went to school, like you went to the library where it was like computers lined up in the library.
Yep.
Like, the idea that someone was bringing a laptop in was like, whoa. And I was a rich white private school. Like, I remember kids having PDAs.
Yeah.
Do you remember those, Jacob?
No. What is the PDA?
Public display of affection in my school.
Oh my God! Yes. Yes. Oh my God! Yep.
To the public display or to the PDAs?
I was thinking what Corey said.
Yeah, I was just I was being sarcastic.
That's fantastic. A PDA was back in the day. It was like a personal computer, but it didn't have cell phone service. It was like an iPhone Touch, but like before iPhone Touches came out, like it could. I don't even know what it was for. I never had one. I wasn't rich enough to have one. It was like they cost so much money because it was like, how can you have a pocket device? Like that's insane, you know. But kids in my school were like, yeah, you know, I got a PDA. My parents got me a PDA so I could take notes in class, you know. And
at my school growing up, PDA was what I just said, public display of affection, where it was like, quit it. No one wants to see that shit in the hallway. Just stop.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that's what PDA was for me too. Actually,
Okay, hold on.
I
I'm making
remember
sure.
I never had to
I know
call
you're right.
people out on it, but
I've heard PDA as like a, you know, device. I just don't know. I couldn't tell you what it was.
Personal digital assistant.
There we go. Digital assistant.
So a personal. Hold on. This is what I'm gonna do. Let's do this because we're doing fanciness.
Oh, you're gonna pull up a screen. All right.
ooh,
Yes, I remember my
personal
dad having
digital
one of
assistant.
these. I
Yeah,
remember my
also known
dad
as a
having one of these.
handheld PC. It's a variety mobile device which
wow.
functions as a personal information manager. PDAs have been mostly displaced by the widespread adoption of highly capable smartphones, in particular those based on iOS and Android. Dude, I'm telling you, look at this thing.
That's it. That's the one.
That's
Palm
crazy.
Point.
That's crazy. That's the one my dad had. I used to play around with that. It had a stylus.
Yeah, they had styles. This is my people in my grade had like this one right here, this
Man.
Palm. Insane. I mean, to think like back in the day, it was like if you had one of these, you had if your kid had one of these, you had way too much money.
Facts. See, the thing that I loved about the 90s as like a whole, like looking back, it's not something I definitely realized then, but it's just how creative everything was. And like, there was no sort of like, that's silly. Like, I remember, okay, so like, if you buy like a 2000, like a 90s or 2000s CRV, and you open up the back where the spare tire is, the cover for the spare tire is just a picnic table that you can set up. Like it just came with a picnic table when you bought the car. And like there's cubby compartments everywhere and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just like they were just like, you know what? Let's throw in a table. And like they
Let's
just did
do
stuff
whatever
like
we
that.
want.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's sort of now it's like if like I mean like I feel like the only person that would do that and just again for the meme would be Elon Musk. He would go, all right,
Yep,
let's throw
Tesla.
a table in the back of the Tesla. But everyone else is just like, that's weird and unprofessional, and I'm not going to buy a Lexus if it has a table in the back of it.
Dude.
But like if when you had a Honda in the 2000s, it was like, just throw in a table. Why not? You know,
Absolutely.
just weird, actually quirky stuff like that.
So we were talking about computer games that we used to play when we were kids. And there's a bunch of them, like old school computer games. I remember I'm going somewhere with this, and then we could jump back on computer games because it was a fun conversation. But I remember like in that time period where I was playing computer games, especially the computer games that we were talking about and reminiscing about, listening and hearing Avril Lavigne for the first time. Skater Boy.
Yep.
Like, it was one of the first songs I remember being like, hey, I know that song just ended. Can you just start it over and we're just going to listen to that again.
Go ahead
I'm
and
pretty
loop
sure
that for
she
me.
was the first meme that ever happened with like that one song. He was a skater boy, and then they just like remixed it into something that I forget what they
seriously
did to it, but that was
I
funny.
just remember like it's crazy to think about like that time because that was when I had dial-up. Corey, we were talking about Corey didn't have dial-up. Jacob, do you remember dial-up?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get on the phone. I'm trying to get on the internet. That is such another just crazy concept that like I couldn't fathom having to do right now.
See, the thing I did like about old internet was, which I think they should definitely bring back, is when web pages would load from the top down and they would go like a string of code.
Oh my God, yes.
And then the whole page would be filled. Because right now it's just like, all right, it's blank. Is it loading? Is it not? With that, I knew exactly how much was loaded. It was like, all right, it's struggling near the middle there, but it's coming along. I thought that
perfect, yeah.
That's a missed opportunity to bring that back.
Did y'all ever do those there was like some generic website that was like puzzlegames.com or something like that. Did y'all ever get on those?
I played Ultimate Arcade.
Ultimate Arcade. I don't know that. I don't remember that one, but
That was the one I played.
they just had like a
I had
million games on these websites. It was great.
yeah. I
And it
found out
definitely
about
gave your
those kind
computer a
of
virus.
Yep.
websites. I found out about those kind of games in middle school, like from other
Mm.
kids, because before
Yep.
then I was purely using discs. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had, so Corey and I were talking about this. I had a game, like a disc, that was like Cartoon Network's old school cartoon characters. So Flintstones, Scooby Doo, I don't even remember other ones, but all of them like at a carnival. So you would like, as the player, you would choose what booth to go to, and each Cartoon Network character would have its own like carnival game associated with it. Johnny Bravo, like all those back in the day. And I loved that game. I thought it was incredible. You know this game, Jacob? Do you know this game?
No, I remember like websites like that where you just go on like Cartoon Network and they have all of
Yeah,
their
that's
shows
what
and you
Corey's
could
saying.
just play games for like Teen Titans or
Well, right. I used to
whatever.
play. There was the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends game, which was way too detailed for being a Flash player. You literally made your own imaginary friend and then got to just do stuff. And
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
and like it would start in the Foster's house, and then you like did all these quests or whatever, and then eventually there were some quests where it's like you'd go to the mall, which was another place from the show, and then you'd go to the park and stuff like that. And then there was like the Ed, Edd and Eddy one, Demolition Derby, where you made your own little cart and you all fought on the cul-de-sac. Like I used to play so many games on Cartoon Network's website. It was insane.
One of my very fond memories is being in our middle school library
Mm-hmm.
and someone teaching me like about a game, and it was a multiplayer game on one of those websites. So you could be on different computers. And It was
Wow.
a 6-figure arena battle game. And to me at the time, like I remember having a PlayStation 2 and having to get a port on the back just to be able to play online.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing online was like unheard of. I could play on my system, and you can be in a different house. Like I couldn't fathom that was like Halo LAN parties. Like
I didn't discover online playing until like my Xbox 360. Like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, didn't even consider it. Then we got like a Wii, and then Xbox. My friends were like, get it, you know, you can play with all of us, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right. So like when I finally got a 360, that's when I first dipped my toe into like online multiplayer games.
Yeah, Halo 2 and PlayStation 2, like SOCOM and Monster Hunter were like my real first experiences of playing, like starting to play online. And there was a mech game. I think it was Mech Warrior or something like that. And I remember playing online, and there was like this virtual meeting hub where you were like your pilot character, and you like walked in and were like, hey, other pilots, I'm about to kill you in my mech once this battle starts. And it was such a cool concept that you could be in this virtual room as a character waiting for the game to start, because no one else was doing anything like that. Like I hadn't experienced it before. Oh man, just the beginning of like online play is so crazy to think about in my mind.
Yeah, that's one of the first ones. I never got into it, but I know you did, Matt. Was World of Warcraft. Like,
oh yeah,
it's that's a good throwback, even though I guess it's still around and people still love it. But it was my brother played it, my dad played it. I tried to play it. It's not my game. It just wasn't. But
well, I talked about what did I talk about? Like changed my world.
I have no idea.
I said something like changed my world. Screw that.
Online gaming?
World of War. I think it was something before
Oh
that.
no, when the ads came on TV that were like, we're switching over to
Yeah,
provider only.
Screw that. World of Warcraft was what changed my life. World of Warcraft, because when I first played that was like, this is what games can be.
Mm-hmm.
Like before then, games were something that like I'd play with, again, LAN parties. Like I'd have friends over, we'd play. World of Warcraft was like, I'm playing with the world. Like I am playing with people, God knows where, and everyone I'm looking at is another person playing this game, and I'm in this massive world where I can do all of this stuff. When I first played it, I went over to my cousin's house, and I believe she was dating the guy that she's now married to and been married to for a while now. But I walked into their apartment, and I was probably like 13, 14. And they were like, okay, you can come try World of Warcraft. You know, like we both play, so you can come here, get on their computer. You can make a character, have fun. I didn't get up from that computer. I couldn't tell you for how long. Like that day, still in my mind, feels like the fastest day I've ever had in my life. And by the end of it, I remember them coming in. I don't know if they left. I don't know what happened. I remember them coming in the house, their apartment, and they're like, all right, Matt, it's time to go. And I just looked at them with the most sincere, like heartbroken, like, can I spend the night? And they were like, you gotta go home, man. Like we love you, but you gotta go home. And I couldn't fathom that someone would show me something so wonderful and then just rip it away. I loved World of Warcraft when I loved it. That really did change my life. Good times.
Do you guys remember what your first I guess it might be Warcraft for you, or World of Warcraft for you, Matt, but like browser multiplayer, I don't know how to categorize it. Like mine was either like Club Penguin or Webkins. I played with both of those all the time. It was like I was either playing Club Penguin or I was playing Webkins, and like the Webkins was awesome. And I remember specifically who introduced it to me was a neighbor friend of ours who was like, "You ever played Webkins?" And then I was like, "This is amazing." I buy the physical thing, and then I put the code in, and I have it on the computer. And Club Penguin was so fundamental for me growing up, like being the game that I played. That username stayed with me till college. Like till the end of college, I had the same username that I created for Club Penguin and Webkins and all that stuff. It was just crazy the amount of time I spent on that.
Yeah, I never played Club Penguin. I didn't even know what it was. But my wife is born in 98. So, like, you mentioned Club Penguin, and she's like, oh, my God, Club Penguin's incredible. I love that game. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know. So that one
I don't know
just
that
past
one.
my time.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, but here's
That's
something
all
we
right.
can all. I've been saving this one. Here's something we can all really reminisce about, and rest in peace, Blockbuster.
Oh, I knew that's where you're going. I actually was thinking about that earlier when I forget what I was saying, but oh yeah, walking to like the supermarket and whatnot, because there was this Blockbuster right next to my house, and whenever I would have friends over, it's like, dude,
Oh
let's just
my
walk to
gosh.
Blockbuster. The greatest experience ever, every time.
Yeah,
Every time.
Yeah.
that's a literal dream. If I lived close enough to walk to a block, I would still to this day go walk to Blockbuster. If I could just go walk down the street and walk to Blockbuster, I'd be like, let's go see what movies they got. It's right there.
I remember
They had video
Blockbuster.
games too and everything. It was great.
that's
I
what I mainly did is my dad and I would go and I would rent a video game. My memories of Blockbusters are not a lot of movies, but a lot of video games. And I remember specifically renting Ape Escape 3 for my PlayStation 2. And I, first of all, loved it for the time that I played it. But I specifically remember so like trying to figure out the controls for like an hour, because I was like, all right, I can move around. I know what I'm doing. I can jump. I've got all these controls down. But you had this net and you're supposed to catch them. And I was like, I've tried every single button on this controller and none of them swing the net. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I missed the like prompt where it tells you how to do it. What do I do? And after the longest time, I finally figured out that it was the right analog stick and it was directional for like wherever you were supposed to through the net. And I was like, oh my God, like it took me forever.
I was waiting for you to say Monster Hunter when it first came out was you would swing your weapon with the right analog stick. And I remember it being the weirdest thing I'd ever done in a video game, but I got really used to it and I absolutely loved that game. So what's another crazy thing to think about growing up in the 90s is there's some things that have kind of like stuck around and like grown and kind of like changed with the times, like Toonami, or at least I know Toonami went away, but now it's come back. And we could talk about Toonami for probably a good 30, 45 minutes alone. But what's crazy to think about is the idea of having to figure things out without Googling something.
If you didn't know it, your friends didn't know it, and your parents didn't know it, it didn't exist.
That was it. You had to figure it out. And I remember, I remember playing Kingdom Hearts 2 with my best friend at the time, and we had to fight Maleficent, and she turned into the dragon, and we spent all day fighting one boss.
Yep.
I remember it got to the point where we put on 50 Cent because we had just done the best we could, and it was like, we got to get serious. We put on 50 Cent, and it was like the most pump-up music ever. And we just sat down, and we just like, for hours after that, just kept, and I remember, I don't remember who beat it. Someone beat it, and it was this huge celebration. But like, throughout all that, I can't fathom that we could just go to Google and be like, hey, here's a walkthrough video of how to beat Maleficent.
Yep.
Like,
too easy.
You gotta earn it. Right.
You gotta earn it, man.
Dude, it felt so good to earn it. That like, I think that's probably when it comes to video games, I hate looking anything up for most video games, especially ones like that. Like, I've been playing Minecraft lately, and that game is just way too big, and there's way too much that you can do to not look things up. It's like learning a coding language.
Well, because I remember when I first started playing Minecraft, when it like first came out, and it was like the only thing I had to look up was like crafting recipes, and I was like, once I memorized them, it was like, all right, we're good. And I've been playing it since then, but now it's sort of like there's this gap where I just haven't learned some of the new stuff. Like I like the new furnaces. I haven't looked into yet, the new crafting tables and stuff, and like the map making. And I'm like, I know of it. I know a lot of it, but like I really need to like do my research and like learn these new things now, because it's just gotten a lot bigger than than it was when I first played it.
The idea of the circuits that people create, and this is all I'll talk about Minecraft, because this is not 90s.
I'm not even, I don't even mess around with redstone. I cannot fathom it. I will not fathom it, because like it's so much more than just power and circuits. Like you can code with it. People have made ports of Pokemon Yellow in Minecraft, and it's like, you know what? I'm not going to jump into this.
It is insane. Like,
people run Minecraft in Minecraft.
I can't fathom it. I literally can't fathom it. So yeah, that's Minecraft. Goodness, man. Those are my big, that was my big one. Blockbuster was my big one. I remember we used to do movies growing up. Like we'd have like family outing. They'd be like, okay, we went to Movie Gallery, which is like the off-brand of Blockbuster, but we went to movie gallery and was like, okay, everyone can pick one movie, and then over the next 3 days, we'll watch each one. So everyone pick what movie you want, and I was always the one that picked like the anime movies or like the cartoon movies, and my dad would be like, okay, all right, that's fine, I guess we can watch that. But then once I got older, yeah, I definitely started renting video games as well. And now Netflix. And now I only use my Xbox. I signed into my Xbox and I can download everything to my Xbox.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember when someone first told me they could rent a game and then download it to their PlayStation. And I was like, that's cheating. You can't do that.
Yes. Yes.
I was
absolutely.
like, so they just had it, and I'm like, I didn't know you could do that. I don't think I ever did that at that point, but I was like, man, people do that.
What was
amazing.
your favorite 90s / early 2000s snack? I'll give my two favorite right off the top. Dunkaroos, which I hear are making a comeback, and I could not be happier.
Yep.
And 3D Doritos. Jacob, do you remember 3D Doritos?
Yo, man, I'm classic when it comes to Doritos. That nacho cheese, man.
Jacob, do you know what I'm talking about?
Even though I can't, no, I remember vaguely, but I don't remember ever having them.
Oh my God, I'm looking them up now.
Look at these. They were incredible.
I remember having those. Yeah, I remember those.
And I would be lying if I didn't say Gushers. Gushers were probably really my favorite snack of all time. Favorite. Absolutely. I would eat the whole pack in one. I would rip the pack open and I would just be like, I'm done. Give me another one.
Yep.
How many are we allowed to have? 5? Good. Give them all. Let's go. In my mouth. I love Gushers.
Gushers are top, easily some of the best. Jacob, do you want to go next? Because I've got one lined up.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a few more, but the only one that's coming to mind at the moment was, and I think they're still around, is the Nutter Butters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
sure,
you don't eat it just like a normal candy bar or whatever. You would peel it back because there was layers to it, and then there's the peanut butter. I don't know. It was just a childish way to eat it.
Nutter Butters or Nutty Bars?
Let's find out.
Nutter Butters are wafer. Nutty Bars are like cookie.
I think you're talking about Nutty Bars. These things,
you're
Jacob?
Right. Yes. Wow, I even had the name wrong.
Nutty Bars.
Nutty Bars, dude. I used to love Nutty Bars.
See, I knew what you were talking about, but I also got the name wrong. So, did not remember the name correctly, but I knew exactly what you were talking about.
I thought you were talking about Nutter Butter, which is the cookie.
Yes, those are delicious as well.
Yeah, they're great. But you started talking about layers, and I was like, Jacob, there's only 2 layers to a Nutter Butter. We're talking about something different here. Nutty Bars. And pecan.
All right, I'm gonna try and bring back a memory for you guys here. Matt, if you want to bring it up, if you want to pull it up on the computer. But do you remember Grips? GRIPZ?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, PZ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually have a funny story about these. So go ahead. And I have a funny story.
Well, I just thought the Cheez-It ones were the best.
Yeah. These were past my prime days.
Okay.
So I didn't
these really
have them
these were every lunch snack. It was you got the Cheez-It ones, you got the cookie ones. It was amazing. I loved them. And the Cheez-Its definitely tasted different than regular Cheez-Its.
If these came out when I was a kid, when I was really young, absolutely.
Yeah.
They would. I'd be so nostalgic about them.
Yeah.
But my older brother got into some like online service that was like testing things out. It's something like Honeybee or something like that.
Okay.
And they would send you a lot of product and be like, here you go, try this out for free. You just need to rate it, blah, what, something to that effect. And they sent so many grips.
That's
like,
amazing.
Just stacks of grips. That's my only, like, if I didn't have that experience, I would not know what grips were. But I just remember
He's
being
living
like,
my dream.
yeah, like, hey, give me some Chips Ahoy grips. We have 1 million of them. Let's go. Come on. I'll take some.
That is the dream, man. I
Yeah,
wish.
yeah.
If I'm honest, I don't even remember those.
I'm telling you, I think they were past our time.
Yeah, it was a little bit more 2000s than 90s.
I did. Jacob, when did you start watching anime? Did you start watching when you were a kid?
Mm-mm. I didn't start watching until I was
Toonami.
like, well, I mean, I guess I watched like Dragon Ball Z on Toonami and
Yeah.
maybe one or two other things. I got familiar with some of the bigger shows that they had on Toonami, but I didn't start like actually sitting down and watching from like start to end until like my junior year of high school. When Cody, my cousin for the audience, when he was like, I don't even know how it happened. He was like, I guess he was just like, hey, yeah, you should come watch some anime sometime. And I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. And I started with, what was my first one? Was it Bleach? I feel like it couldn't have been Bleach because he would be like, no, that one's too long for you. You got to like start with something a little bit. It might have been Full Metal Alchemist, the original.
Yeah, I was just about to say, probably Full Metal.
Which, in hindsight, really isn't the original because it was incomplete. And they were just like, all right, we're going to finish it the way we want to finish it. But that might have been my first one, which was left me wanting so much more.
Oh, dude.
Because it was just incomplete. It was like,
yeah, that's what's crazy. Like, I remember, so going back to like 90s, I remember like Saturday morning cartoons, Animaniacs. Oh my gosh, the two lab mice, Pinky and the Brain.
Yep.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman, Static Shock, Batman Beyond. Dude, there were some incredible cartoons back then.
Oh, yeah.
And then outside of that, I only watched Toonami, and it was more of like a tradition thing for me. It wasn't like I love anime. It was like I watch Toonami on Saturday nights. It's just what I do. I watch Dragon Ball Z. I watch Naruto. I watch Zatch Bell. Like, I watch all these anime that come on because it's on. And then I didn't start watching anime until after I started college. Like beginning to end. When you start seeking out anime, that is when you have become an anime nerd. And I didn't become an anime nerd until probably like after I started college. Because otherwise it was just like you wake up on Saturday morning for Saturday morning cartoons, you stay awake Saturday night for Toonami. It was the same kind of concept. You just watch them and you don't really think about it. So, yeah, man.
I remember.
No, you go first, Jacob.
Okay, real quick. I remember Saturday morning during like college football season. I would watch my Saturday morning shows up until whatever, and then college football would come on, and I have such a negative connotation of that. I was like, man, who wants to watch this? Like, come on.
Where are my cartoons?
Like,
yes.
I really do enjoy sports now, but it's like that memory of just the announcers talking and then you see the field or whatever. I'm like, not again.
Yeah, dude. Anything that cuts off Saturday morning cartoons is the worst.
Yeah.
Yes, that is fantastic.
See, I remember having to remember when my show started. I remember being like, all right,
yeah,
the next episode comes out 8/7 Central. I gotta be here at 8. I gotta watch this. We're gonna get ready. And like, the first show that I watched beginning to end, waiting for every single episode to come out, was Avatar: The Last Airbender. I remember specifically just getting so excited and simultaneously so depressed for that last episode to come out and to be like, that's it. Like, this is everything I've been waiting for, and now there's no more.
The idea that I could watch Avatar: Last Airbender as a kid, I think it would have ended my life. Like, that show is so good.
Oh my gosh,
like,
I was glued to the screen.
Compared to the things that if I grew up with like watching that on air, like, I got to be careful when I show this to my kids. Like, I have to wait until they're like old enough and they've seen some things to be able to be like, hey, let's sit down and watch this. Because if I show them that early on, they're not going to want to watch anything else. They're going to be
That's
like,
true.
all this other stuff is trash, man. Why did you show me this first? So I gotta let them experience so they can see, like, maybe other things aren't as good as Avatar: Last Airbender, but they're different, and they offer different perspectives and different sides.
But nothing's
That's how good Avatar is.
Oh,
if that came out in the 90s,
dude, I remember waiting up, and every single time, just having to know when it started and be like, I can't miss it. I think before I had like bought the disc set recently and like watched it again, I have probably seen every episode of that show like 4 times through. I've seen the thing like 4 times through, just seeing reruns and watching it every day when I was a kid. I loved that show and still do, obviously.
So
but like, just the another big one for me was Ben 10. I remember watching Ben 10 religiously when that started coming out, and like every time he got a new alien, it was just like the biggest thing ever, and I was so excited.
That just for me, I was older when that came out, and it was so good that I would watch that. But like it was such a different feeling than like waking up for Saturday morning cartoons, because I knew I was older, so I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't be watching this, but it's really good. And I want to watch it. And it was that like awkward, like, I want to be cool and I don't know what to do, but I still love this.
Yeah.
That was Ben 10 for me. So I did love it, but I watched it carefully.
It was great. And like running to the bathroom between commercial, like, and during commercial breaks, just like,
I was just
I gotta be back. Yeah. I gotta be back for it.
I see that meme. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, just like having someone in there, like, to like agonize through the commercials, and then when it would come back on and be like, everybody, just start screaming through the house, like, all right, it's back on.
It's back.
Everyone would come running.
That there
would be like the commercial that always plays.
Yeah, dude.
Matt, you go first.
Where it talks about sorry. The meme where it talks about vaulting over the back of the couch.
Yep.
To get back just in time for the show to start. Like, that was real. Like, I really did that. It was a real thing.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Oh man, it was just the best. That's when everything was just like, you know what? Everything is just good. Everything's just cool. We're just gonna hang out.
Actually, TiVo or
TiVo. Oh wow, this is not what I'm talking about. I thought it was TiVo, right?
Yeah. I remember
when TiVo came out.
I remember the logo.
Introduced in 1999, yeah.
TiVo.
This thing was like
revolutionary.
Yeah.
You can record.
I remember that
TV.
Remote. Yep.
You can pause TV. Couldn't fathom. Because that was you had to vault over the couch.
I remember
recording. You go first.
Go
Jacob.
ahead, Corey. Oh, I was just gonna say the one device that ruined advertisement for cable TV.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
Because I would record
We'll come back and
entire.
fast forward. Yeah.
I would record entire like seasons of a TV show, and like I remember, I'd rewatch. I'd have like tons of episodes of like Avatar and Ben 10 and like Watch Us Home for Imaginary Friends recorded, and I would just go back and watch them. And I remember being livid when one of my sisters would like delete an episode. I'd be like, "Where is this? Where is it? I need to watch it now."
I remember one of the biggest times I blew up, which I guess I like held in anger a lot as a younger kid. My sister, do you remember how you could be on one channel and it would record back like for like an hour or something? So you could have it paused for an hour before it started like just automatically playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she did this thing where she wanted to go in there and turn the channel. And I was like, don't do that. And I explained why. I was like, I have all this time. I will lose all this time on my show or movie or whatever I was watching. She came in there and she did that, and I blew up. I don't remember what happened after that. But
I remember
she's no longer.
I remember being so angry at my sister Abby because when you would play on your DS, the save files would save to the game card, not to your DS. So my sister would play another one of my games and delete a save file. And I would be like, I've got to do this all again. I haven't even done it once. I don't want to do the beginning half of this game 30 times. And it was just like, that would drive me up the wall. And the thing that really pissed me off about it would be like, I'd have one save file and there's 3. Why did you need to get rid of 1? Why didn't you use 2 or 3? Please use 2 or 3 because they're unnamed. And I would know every single time that the save file would be destroyed because I'd go in and the save file name would be like XYZ, like just keyboard jamming. And I'd be like, oh my God, again.
When you have lots of your side, yep. It's like,
just anger. Yeah, absolutely. I see. This is the joy of growing up as the only gamer in my house.
Oh,
never.
See,
never had to deal with
this. That never happened with my computer or my PlayStation or anything like that. But when it came to DS games, that was the one area where it was like she never was interested in Pokemon, so all those games were like sacred, never touched. So that's fine. But like the one I remember specifically, which is so funny. I have no idea why this is the standout one, but I literally remember getting angry about this one because it happened so many times. I literally made it halfway through this game, probably like 30 times. Never beaten it because they always deleted my save file. But it was the B-Movie DS game. And it was like, I would find, there was one time where it was like, she hasn't touched it for ages. I'm on a level I've never seen before. This is incredible. And then like the next day it was gone. And I was like, what is wrong with you?
That is literally incredible. The only game my brother played really back then, like he plays games now, but the only game he played back then was Pokemon on Game Boy. And even then it was like he played so little that he would be like, hey Matt, where's that game? Like where's Pokemon? Can I play that Pokemon game? And I'd be like, yeah, hold on. Here you go. Here's yours.
Yeah.
Don't do anything different.
Yep.
That's yours. And he would, so it never happened that way. But I think that might be one of like the most proud, like, things that I was alive when it came out was Pokemon.
Yep.
Of course.
Like the fact that I was alive when Pokemon came out and I just experienced like the full blown explosion of Pokemon. Yep. I remember vowing, and I mean like, if we would have done a blood packed, I wouldn't have been surprised. Back in elementary school, that me and my best friend would love Pokemon until the day we died. And it was like as serious as you could be as a small child.
As a kid, yeah.
And I remember coming home and telling my dad and being like, hey, Dad, I just want to let you know, I'm going to love Pokemon until the day I die.
Oh, my God. He was like, is he going to say what I think he's going to say?
No. But like, what's crazy is I still do love Pokemon. It's just a different kind of love. But like, it really like the idea that was created during my time, like Pokemon cards, the trading game. You'd have the little action figures. You would play one of the saddest memories of my childhood of Pokemon was like, I remember I bought Pokemon Red from like a used game store, and I put it in and I like loaded the game that was saved onto it, and it had like level, like what was the max level back then? Was it 50 or was it 100?
I think it was like 100.
I can't remember.
99 or something.
99. Yeah, maybe it was 99. I think it had like level 99 Pokemon like roster. And without thinking about it, I was just like, oh, I loaded the wrong game. And I started a new game. And like 10 minutes later, I was like, I had all those Pokemon. I could have just had all those Pokemon. And I just got rid of them? What is wrong with me? Like, I was so mad at myself.
That's
Do you remember trading Pokemon, like from game to game?
With the link cable? Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And watching the little Pokemon being transferred over.
Yep.
Genius. Absolute genius.
So that actually, that transitions into something I want to talk about. But, okay, so first of all, trading, like just period, but I'm going to get into that in a second. My most proud trade I've ever made in my life is that me and my friend, he had Pokemon Ruby Red, and I was like, I want that so bad. Like I will play that right now. And I remember trading him, and this is easily like, you know, the meme, like this is the worst trade deal in the history of whatever, like Trump says or whatever. He literally made the worst trade deal I have ever seen in my life, because I, no joke, traded 4 Pokemon Ruby Red that I still have to this day. I traded him Pokemon Pinball, which was a pinball game you played on the Game Boy that was just like Pokemon themed, but like did not have anything to do with Pokemon, and it was just a pinball game.
How do you sleep at
Pokemon.
night?
Look. It's a terrible trade. But I love Pokemon Pinball. I love
Really?
it. Yes, dude.
Oh my God, it was a blast, and I loved it. But I was like, I want real Pokemon over Pokemon Pinball.
Yeah. Of course.
Yes.
It was the best trade I ever made. I still have it, and I knew it was. He traded it for something else because it had some other kid's initials on the back of it. Still have no idea who it belongs to, but I still have it. It's like it still has the first save file because I only played Pokemon games once. Like I would never delete a save file and play again. It would just be like I'll just keep logging more hours in the same game. But every file on every one of my Pokemon games is just is the first one I ever did, and I still love that game. It was a blast. But that transitions into a bigger topic I want to talk about, which is actually trading. Like, did you ever trade toys as a kid? Where you'd be like, you know what, I'll trade you this for that.
Let's close it out here because we're running a little over time. But yes, I would love to talk about trades because trades were my childhood.
And they're just not a thing anymore.
Because you don't have physical interaction with people anymore like that. Like
I don't think it's even it's less than that. It's not physical interaction. There's nothing to trade. Everything is on your phone. Right. Like when you were a kid, you had all these awesome things, and to trade something, it's just like, all right, I'll download this and log into my account. You know, it's not like that anymore.
Okay, so
yeah, you can't really trade digital information.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret, Corey. Trading cards. It's still a thing.
Yep.
And it is still as satisfying to trade now because it's just pure nostalgia. Because I grew up with trading cards. So, like, I played Pokemon, I played Yu-Gi-Oh!, I played Magic, I still play Magic. And I remember, speaking of Pokemon trades, man, I remember trading a single Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. Corey, I'm about to blow your mind. I traded a single Yu-Gi-Oh! Card for a Pikachu edition Game Boy Color.
I don't know.
Like
that. See, that's a trade that the parents would get involved in and be like, "Where's your Game Boy?" And they'd be like, "Oh, I traded it for this." And they'd be like, "That's not gonna happen." And then you'd go to that kid's house, and your mom would be like, "I know we had a deal. I still am a man of my word, but my mom says I have to take it back."
I'm still a man of my word.
It was I didn't know the kid. We were at a trading shop, like a card shop, and he was like, I'll trade you a Game Boy Color. I literally had a moment where I was like,
is he lying?
Oh, okay. Please take the card. I remember going to my friend and being like, I just got this for one card. I was oh my gosh, the best trade of my life. Hands down.
Oh my god!
I wish I still had that Game Boy Color.
It would be funny if it's like,
wish I did.
if it's like Joke's on You. He goes to like some Pokemon tournament or whatever, and he won because of that card.
Oh, dude, I'd be so happy for him. I'd be like, yeah, good for you.
If he won at a Pokemon tournament with a Yu-Gi-Oh card, Jacob, I'd be very surprised.
Oh, it was. I thought you said Pokemon card.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh card for the Pokemon.
I win this.
Game Boy.
Same concept.
Yes.
Here you go. This is the one.
That's the card. You remember the card?
It's a 25-cent card. Well, I guess 450 if you have that version of it. Apparently,
100 hollow misprint. Let's just pray that it was for his sake.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a very racy card. but yeah.
Man,
maybe that's why he traded it.
Yeah.
Because he was young. I remember, he was like, my mom won't let me have that card.
Yep.
I want it.
He's like, I gotta get rid of this somehow. Let me find some idiot that I can trade my my Game Boy to.
Oh gosh. So yeah, trades. We actually. One last thing, and I'm done. Yeah. I'm out. We actually used to print off. Trades were so prevalent in my elementary school that we used to print off really cool pictures of Dragon Ball Z characters, cut them out, and then trade them. And be like, hey, I found this
one last night
on Google Images, and I'll trade you for that Trunks you got. Like, literally printing in full color, full blown. If I saw my kid doing that, like, I think back and I'm like, my dad should have been like, Matt, you can't waste this much printer ink just to go and trade pieces of paper. But I did.
I mean, you guys essentially just created trading card games with it. All right, here you go. This picture's cool. That picture's cool too. God, that's awesome.
Next level was to laminate the pictures.
Yeah.
If you laminated it, oh my gosh.
Stock market just. I'm investing now.
Stonks, massive stonks.
Do you ever remember stealing something like a toy from a friend of yours when you were younger?
Stealing?
Like, not trading, but just being like, I'm gonna hold on to this without him knowing.
I'm gonna hold on to this without him knowing.
Well, because so here's my thing. The first and only time I ever stole anything when I was a kid was a Lego Spider-Man minifigure. So it was really easy to just be like, you know what? I'm gonna pop this. in my pocket, and he will never know. And my rationale as a kid, which is
Never.
hilarious, I was like, he's got 2 of these, and I have 0 of them. He's not going to miss the one. He's actually probably going to want me to have one so we can both have one. So I'm just going to take this, and
Yes.
he won't know.
I love kid logic, dude. I
Dude,
got in trouble
it was the
for
best.
stealing. I got in trouble for stealing from my grandparents when I was a kid, when I was like that young. So like I never stole again. But literally, I actually love the story. They had like $100 in 20s on their like mantle in their room. And I took it. And I was just like, money, let's go. That's awesome. And I walked out into the living room in front of everyone. And I started counting my money. I was like, 20, 40, 60. And my dad was like, Matt, where did you get all that money?
Where'd you get $100?
I was like, what money, Dad? This is just my money. Don't worry about it. And he was like, did you steal that money, Matt? And I got in so much trouble. I never stole again. I was like, you can't just take other things that you like? That doesn't make sense. I liked it. I wanted it. It was there.
Just of any sum of money. If it was like $3, like of all right, no. It's $3. Matt stole $3. It's like, where does a kid logically, without stealing, get $100?
How?
I don't know if I've told you this story, but just this is how my probably more so my mom than my dad, but when I was at school when I was really young, before even first grade, I don't know, and I took some rocks from just like there was just gravel, and I was like, all right, I like these rocks apparently, and so I got a bag and I put them in the bag and I took them home, and my mom was like, where'd you get those rocks? I was like, just from outside, like whatever. And she took it like I stole it, too. And I was like, Jacob, now that's wrong. These are not your rocks. And I was just like, they're rocks.
Rocks belong to nobody, man.
So I had to go return them. We'll say that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man.
That's
that wasn't like someone's landscaping. They just
do what?
I mean, if you're gonna steal, you might as well steal a lot.
I know, right? Yeah, I took all of the rocks.
Might as well go for the 100, man. That's what I'm saying. I was rich as a child for at least 10 minutes.
Dude, the fact that you flexed it is so funny. You were just like
no concept that it wasn't mine. I saw it, I won it, I took it, it's now mine. That's how this works.
Yeah. I'm at my grandparents' house. I eat all the food anyways. This place basically is mine. I get to do whatever I want. Why don't I just take something more? They probably were saving it to give it to me. It probably belongs to me already, and I don't even know it.
We were playing hide and seek with this money. And I can go buy every Pokemon card right now.
And like the concept of $100 to a kid is just like the same as like $5. It's like, I have money. It's not like I've got a ton of money. It's just like I have everything I ever wanted now.
Yeah. Once you get to like 10, 11.
Yeah.
Like then you're like, if I had
endless.
100, oh my gosh. You literally feel like the richest. I remember the first time someone gave me like $100.
Mm-hmm.
Just no way.
Just
no way to understand or comprehend. Yeah. So, all right. Anyone have any last closing amazing statements about being a 90s baby?
We never even talked about music, but
never.
I wouldn't have anything to say about that.
Was my one music contribution.
Yeah. That's okay.
Oh man, hold on. Do you remember like the super edgy early 2000s, probably late 90s Bionicle commercials with like hard rock songs in them, like or alternative rock songs in them? That shaped me as a child. So, dude,
Bionicle was just past my time. Yeah.
Oh no, dude!
Yeah.
When like there was Bionicles that came out, and the commercial had an All American Reject song, and I was like, "This is maximum edge. This is everything I want."
Yes. Absolutely, dude. That is how I would have felt for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
No, man, I loved regular Legos. That was my childhood. Legos.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
We really forgot to put that in. Like my childhood was Legos, video games, playing outside. That's it. And eating as many snacks as I was allowed to have. That was my childhood. So.
Yeah, mine was easy. Mine was PlayStation, computer, riding our bikes outside, playing Legos, and watching movies. That's about it. Just everything about like just entertainment, every form of entertainment. Oh man, hold on. I think I might have said this in another podcast, but I don't remember when I said this last. But this was the end of my childhood, was realizing that summer was 3 months instead of half the year. I thought school was half the year and summer was half the year. And then it finally dawned on me, and I was like, it's not that long. This is 3 months.
You got chipped.
This is a bad deal. This is a bad deal.
Someone
I
lied
remember
along the way.
that ruining me. I was like, this is awful.
It would. That'd be terrible. I will end with something that I have to shout out.
Nice.
I can't read it. It's so small on my screen.
This game truly, like, I still think this game is a masterpiece. I think it's better than Mario Kart. I love everything about this game. There is, for this simple reason, you had a world that you flew around in, and then you would go to your races from this little, like, central world. And I loved it. And I just loved it.
Man,
I played Diddy Kong Racing on the DS, and that was fun. I remember having this creepy aura about it, and I never like actually beat it because, again, my save files were always deleted.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry you had to go through all that. That's rough. That's rough.
It is what it is. You know, you learn to be patient. And
there
to
you
just
go.
expect.
You got shaped by it.
Yes.
All right,
it was
fellas.
Either I hid the games that were important to me, or I just let it ride.
Yep, you learned your lesson.
Yep.
You got to hide those games.
Yep.
Until next time. This was 90's Babies edition. We didn't even talk about Beanie Babies, but it's okay.
The only memory I have is my grandma having a ton. That's about it. Because it's the currency of the future. Who would have thought Beanie Babies would get beat out by Bitcoin?
Oh my gosh. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in, listening to the nostalgia trip, and hopefully it's as fantastic for you as it was for us. We will see you next time, and hopefully with some more fun and important conversations.
For sure. See you later, fellas.
See ya.